welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica. My channel is called The Kiki Files, and I'll just give you just a brief overview of my plans for my channel. First of all, thank you so much for joining me. I typically have a makeup channel. I do have one on YouTube. I'll link it down below. But I was really wanting to do this channel because I have a huge passion for true crime. And I think that it's going to be important to spread awareness and to delve deeper into these cases so people are aware, so people can learn from things, so history doesn't repeat itself. So I just wanted to also put out there that I have the biggest, hugest respect for these families that are involved, or the people involved with any of these cases that I do. That's just going to be my number one goal, is to just always have the respect for the families and for the victims and friends. Just, yeah, that's a huge thing I just want to get across. The reason why I called my channel The Kiki Files also is because our dog is named Kira, and we call her Kiki for short. And when we were trying to figure out what to name the channel, we just kind of thought, Kiki is our dog, and we just really couldn't figure anything else out, so we decided to call the channel The Kiki Files. It's kind of funny because it reminds me of Forensic Files, and that's one of my older TV shows that I used to like. I'm from Alaska, and I have 5 kids. I'm married, and that's a whole long story all by itself. That could probably be another video. I am going to the University of Alaska Fairbanks. I am in the Drug and Alcohol Addictions Counseling Program here at UAF, and I will be graduating this next semester. So I'm super excited about that, to get out there and help people in addiction and in recovery. I've never really thought, okay, this is how I need to do this channel. I'm really just kind of going with the flow. I just did some research on this first story that I'm going to be going over, and it is the Chris Watts story. Okay, just a basic, like a background about the Chris Watts story is Christopher Lee Watts was born in May 16th, 1985, and his future wife, Shan'ann Watts, was born January 10th, 1984. They both were in North Carolina when they met, and they ended up moving to Frederick, Colorado. In 2012, they moved into a 5-bedroom house, and then they started having their family. Bella Marie Watts was born December 17th, 2013, and Celeste Catherine Watts was born on July 17th, 2015. So these 2 little girls were so young, and they were so vibrant and beautiful, and the few videos that I've seen of them so far, they just were the most adorable daughters that anyone could ever dream of, and they were loved by their mother. And you would always see them playing together in videos. Shan'ann had she had worked for a company called Lavelle, and she was selling Thrive products. You guys know those patches, that say Thrive on it. She was doing that, and so she was always on social media. Well, through social media, she would always have videos of her children, her husband, just daily interaction, and she was on Facebook Live a lot. So she really had her family life out there, and from the outside looking in, it looked like they had a really great family. And if you really think about it, they did. They did have financial problems. They filed for bankruptcy in 2015. They just had a lot of debt. Shan'ann had neck surgery, which put them back a lot. If you can imagine that, it's probably have to be really, a hard thing to go through, insurance-wise and just money, period. And also the kids were in a really expensive daycare school. Chris was employed by Anadarko Petroleum. He was an operator, and with my experience with the oil field and those kinds of jobs, I feel like he was making a good amount of money. So I want to talk about the relationship that they had. Chris and Shan'ann, you know, they were married for 6 years. That's a fairly new marriage. They found out they were pregnant early in the summer, so I want to say June, around there, and it was Shan'ann that was noticing things about their marriage that was not going so great. She noticed he was distant. She didn't even have her baby shower and her gender reveal party because he was not feeling the family, which I can't even express how much that would hurt to know that my own husband is not excited about having a new baby. So my heart really goes out to how she must have felt towards the end of her life. You know, she was searching self-help books and she was trying to improve herself when really it was this sick person that had a whole nother life. Yeah, that's pretty devastating, and I really wanted to touch on that because I just want to put out there the situation that this family was in by the time these murders had occurred. Shan'ann returned home early in the morning of August 13th at 1:48 a.m. Her friend Nicole Atkinson had dropped her off from the airport. She had noticed that Shan'ann wasn't really eating well. She was on edge, and they knew of Chris's behavior, and she felt that Shan'ann was going through a lot because of that. The next day, Nicole had tried to reach out to Shan'ann via text, phone calls. None of them were returned. And what I feel started this whole investigation was the friend, Nicole. She went and called the OBGYN doctor that Shan'ann had an appointment with the next morning at 10 a.m. and found out that Shan'ann hadn't showed up to the appointment. She also went over to the house and saw Shanann's shoes in the doorway, and the door was locked, nobody was answering it, and the car was in the garage. Well, Nicole ended up calling Chris and saying, you know, her concerns. You know, she wanted to know where Shan'ann was. Chris was very standoffish, saying that she was on a play date, and which I can't even begin to fathom to understand what Nicole was thinking in her head when he was saying that she was on a play date. Sorry, talk to you later. Nicole said, you need to get home. I'm going to call the police. Chris told her not to call the police. Do not call the police at all. Nicole, she didn't listen to that for 1 second. The Frederick police officers showed up at the house to do a welfare check, and nobody was in the house. They ended up calling Chris on the phone. Chris said that he would be by and let them into the house because the code to the house didn't work. Chris ended up showing up nonchalantly. There's people at the house. It just seemed like people were more worried about the situation than Chris was. They ended up opening up the house, and to everyone's horror, they found Shanann's cell phone, the children's medication, her wedding rings, her purse, the car keys, the children's car seat.
They were like gone just like 30 minutes ago, honestly.
The next door neighbor came onto the scene. He said, hey, I have some footage from my video camera showing what happened last night. I was trying to, you know, see what happened to Shan'ann. They ended up going next door and watching on the big screen Chris Watts backing his truck into the garage in the early mornings the night before and going in and out of the house. You couldn't see the actual bed of the truck. You couldn't see a clear picture of it, but you can definitely see him going in and out, which was unlike him to do, you know, prior. Neighbors said that he usually parked his truck alongside of the road and not in the driveway because Shan'ann didn't want oil to get onto the driveway and to ruin it, and so it was very unlike him to back his truck up into the garage like that, which I feel is a huge red flag. On August 14th, Chris Watts did a TV interview begging for the return of his wife and children.
I want them wherever they're at. Like, I have no inclination of where they're at right now. Like, I've exhausted like every friend that I know of, and every friend that I have has called friends that Shan'ann has that maybe I didn't know about, and it's just like it's vanished. Like, she's not, like, when I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. Like, she wasn't here. Kids weren't here. I have no idea like where they went, and it's just earth-shattering. I don't feel like this is even real right now. It's like a nightmare that I just can't wake up from.
Chris agreed to go in for a police interview and to answer questions. There, he was asked to do a polygraph, which he failed miserably, and he ended up confessing to murdering Shan'ann to his father. He had blamed the murders of Bella and Celeste on Shan'ann because he said that he asked for a separation and she flipped out and ended up killing the kids, and so he basically said that Shan'ann did it, and he freaked out on Shan'ann. Chris Watts was arrested and charged with the murders of Shan'ann Watts and their children. I'll be ending the video right now, but I do want to say that I have a part 2, which I believe is going to be another huge part of this case and things that people are trying to put together, trying to figure out what happened. A couple of things that I want to talk about is the girlfriend of Chris Watts. There's a huge story with her. There's a huge storyline I feel has not been answered yet, and I wanted to talk about all those things involving her and the outcome of the case. I appreciate you guys so much. I am so excited for this channel. I have a huge love for, humanity and, people to come together and to make something good out of something bad. So I appreciate you guys watching this video. I'm gonna try to make them a little short. I don't wanna, go on for 45 minutes. So I'll definitely try to make it around 20 minutes. I love you guys so much. I know I really don't know you guys. I hope you guys give me a chance to prove myself and to tell my story. I love you guys so much. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.